And it's the Desert Fox signing on. Well, so I thought for today's episode, well, we would do something a little more interesting. So my highly criticized, but yet very, very popular, the most popular on my channel, video was police crime that has now risen 15 views. And I am very proud of that, but it was not so welcomed by a couple commenters were very rude in the comments. So, I want to do a follow-up video. In that video, you should go see it first. But in that video, I explained the rates of police shootings. I explained that the police shoot more white people than they do black. And I explained that in that video. Now you go see it. So for today's video, I would like to have a follow-up more video. That video is about raceology. Now you might be wondering, what is raceology? I'll teach you about it. Well, it is a biological study of the differences between races. Now, if you think that is racist, I can correct you. I cannot choose how cells evolve in certain climates, and that's a fact. So I apologize if you feel offended. Please, feel free not to go and start a rebellion in the comments. Now, thank you. So, here I have Benjamin Franklin's quotes that I wrote down. Now, Benjamin Franklin obviously was one of the founding fathers. He had an official autopsy report. Now, you see, Benjamin Franklin, he was a man of many sciences and arts. And not many people know, but he was very, very rich for his time. So, we begin here. See, so about the gist of it on the autopsy reports would be that, you see, he did surgery on some of his dead black slaves. Now, most of these slaves died from, well, old age. And young ones too, were either murdered or other reasons. So now, he did an autopsy on their brains. He was interested in comparing the black brain to the white brain. He concluded that though memory capacity was quite the same, he noticed very differables. He saw that the brain was smooth like an oyster and had no folds compared to a normal human brain, specifically white. He stated in the autopsy reports that though yet my slaves can easily remember and create, they cannot. Well, I find the words for it hard. What he meant was, you see, they couldn't think of their own. So they could easily remember blueprints, but they couldn't figure out, if they were left by themselves as a tribal colony, how to do regular evolvement to other stages of human advancement. They needed someone else to teach them another race. So the conclusion was, you see, now scientists are doing the same studies, and the studies are much, well, like his. You see, why they didn't have folds is, you see, the more folds you have in the brain represent your brain using the max available space. Your cells, brain cells specifically, will search for more space in the skull. That will seek out and try to expand neurons in those areas. Now you see, if you don't have folds, the brain is very inefficient and just uses the available space and not the shapes and small curves in your skull. That brings us to size and weight. The average white brain weighs to 8 to 5 pounds. The average black weighs 3 to 4 pounds, which is, well, quite a bit smaller. Now you see why this matters. You see how scientists tell the intelligence of an animal, and it died millions of years ago, was on the cranium size. And the cranium size will dictate how many neurons and how many neurons will be tightly packed within that skull. So the smaller the brain, the less smart. So, to clear up any mishaps you might have, you see, we have scientific proof. You see, we'll start out with blood plasma levels and testosterone. And you see, white people have about a medium to medium mixture of blood plasma and testosterone, which is pretty good, or even a small amount of blood plasma and a mid testosterone. Blacks have full testosterone and full blood plasma levels. Even for the women, in some cases, most apparently, you see, black women have more testosterone than black males, which is shocking. So that brings us to the violence. You see, testosterone and blood plasma determine violence. You see, I'm not being rude. Black people by themselves, just wonderful. Nice, friendly, funny people. However, scientists have observed different behavior when there is multiples. They start to get rude, angry, and mean. So, you see, this is due to the high testosterone and blood plasma levels dictate the anger. Now, you see, when you have low brain folds, small brain, high testosterone level, and high blood plasma, what this gives you is a perfect mixture for a very angry, big beast. So, we have a crime statistic board. So, I will bring this crime statistic board up to you. For reference, these are from Google's, from the science I just told you. This is from Benjamin Franklin's autopsies. I will pull up this chart. This chart is from Google, just for reference. You can look this up on Google and you can see the population percent, the homicides. So, here we see that black people are 14% of the population. We see that 5% out of that 14 are black males. They do 50% of all killings in the United States. You see, black killings done by white people is 2%. Yes, 2%. So for a chart rate, you can see that here, this would be black rates of killings. This would be white rates of killings. Staggering. Black people are, we can see, much more violent. Now you see, there's an argument presented for this. The argument for this would be that in more impoverished towns and cities, which usually are filled with black people, this is why black people are so violent, because they have little money and they're forced to do crimes. And you see, that is the argument presented to raceology when we have violence standards. However, we do have rates. These rates was in 1929, when the Great Stock Market crashed in the United States. You see, there was almost no crime going up. It went up by 1%. This would be due to more white-collar crimes compared to thuggish crimes. You see, so if you say poverty makes crime, well, we have the 1930 statistics to argue that away. So, this would be the Desert Fox, signing off.